What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ring the Damn Bell. Of course, I have my co-host, the wrestling enthusiast, Mark. And tonight is Wednesday Night Dynamite AEW recap. Was this a good show? Was it a bad show? Did anything exciting happen? This is what we'll be talking about. But before we do that, Mark, let's go with the news real quick. Um, there is a new Anoa'i. I think that's how you pronounce that. Legendary families. He signs with WWE. Lance Anoa'i or Noai. I should know how to pronounce this. It's sad that I don't. But regardless, he's a member, of course, of the esteemed Anoa'i wrestling family. He has officially joined with WWE after securing his release from MLW last year. Anoa'i aimed to continue his family legacy within WWE. However, according to Fightful Select, there's a little bad news that's coming with this. Anoa'i is currently sidelined due to an injury and is not expected to be cleared for action in the immediate future. Consequently, there are no imminent creative plans for him within NXT or on the main roster right now. Do you think that once he is cleared to wrestle, do you see him going through the whole NXT thing, or do you think he's going to come on directly to the main roster?
I guess it depends on the injury. Now, that could be a swerve too to have him pop up unexpectedly. Um, as far as NXT, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes where you might not see TV time, but you're training. So, or training and developing. So, it could be quite possible that they're training and developing them and they're going to pop them up without even putting them on TV.
Yeah, well,
So,
I know that he was legitly, he was injured while he was wrestling for MLW. So I think the injury is legit. Um, but again, we don't know about the injury, how bad the injury is. I guess we'll find out. Also, this is kind of borderline rumors versus, borderline news. It's about Becky Lynch. There is strong speculation that the man may be gearing up for a comeback to WWE sooner than expected. Lynch's contract with WWE officially expired on June 1st, as we all know. And while she chose not to renew immediately, her name has remained on WWE's weekly talent roster, sparking plenty of buzz. The latest update comes from WrestleVotes Radio, where Joey Votes dropped some intriguing details. According to him, WWE has been in talks with major athletic apparel retailers to expand their merchandise lineup, and Lynch's name has reportedly come up in these discussions. Joey Vogt said that the list of names approved for conceptual use includes legends like Stone Cold Steve Austin, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, and of course, Becky Lynch. He goes on to say that whether she signed or not, it seems that WWE still holds the rights to Becky Lynch's name, which is a good sign for her returning at some point. So again, kind of on that borderline rumor thing, but some interesting things, happening with that, with them creating some apparel for her. Time will tell she comes back. Hopefully she'll come back. But I'm not gonna lie, as an AEW fan, because WWE is still doing so well, I would love to see a Becky Lynch go to AEW. I think that it would be a much needed bump for them within the scope of eyes being on that brand if that happened. We know that more than likely that's not going to happen, but it's a wish. So, other than that, let's get to the show, Mark.
all right. So we open up with the Hurt Locker or Hurt Syndicate. Sorry. Started off the show uh, with MVP introducing everybody, which we already know, but you gotta have theatrics, I guess. Swerve eventually comes out and challenges Bobby Lashley at Full Gear.
Yeah, I tell you, now that Bobby Lashley is there, and of course, we know that, or at least I think that Swerve is going to eventually join them. There's one other man that, and I know we'll get to later on, but I'll mention his name anyway, that came back last night, which is Hobbs, right? And let me tell you, if you got a big wheel Hobbs, right? Powerhouse Hobbs, with that group as well, and then you have Bobby Lashley, Powerhouse Hobbs, you have Benjamin Shelton, and if I don't know why I do this every show, my mind goes blank with the other guy that they're trying to get from WWE. He just came over from WWE, Mark. He's the one that he wrestled with Will Ospreay. He was in a tag team last night with Powerhouse Hobbs, actually.
Oh, you're talking about Fletcher?
No, 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 no. He was in the tag.
Ricochet.
Ricochet. That's it. Ricochet. If Ricochet joins them as well, and they have those four guys, right? You want to talk about a fashion that could, if they kept them together, could eventually become this legendary group of men, kind of like the Four Horsemen was.
I
Because
was
if
just
you
thinking the Black Four Horsemen.
right, because if you think about it, if you have Powerhouse Hobbs and Bobby Lashley together as they get tag team champs, right? And you get your Strickland to be obviously your world champion. You have Ricochet as the TBS. Was that?
Continental.
Yeah, the Continental champion, and Benjamin Shelton as kind of the enforcer. And the reason why I say Benjamin Shelton as the enforcer, just because of the fact that Shelton is at the point that he's not wrestling full time. He's not going to wrestle full time, right? So that would be the perfect spot for him. It's believable, incredible talent. That could literally be a modern day version of the Four Horsemen right there, especially, of course, not to forget MVP, who is absolutely brilliant on the mic. He really is. Um, so I really hope Tony Khan realizes
The
the star
potential.
power that he has in his hands right now. And if he does it right, just that amazing team that can be built within AEW.
Well, I'd love to see them go against the Death Riders, and we'll get to that later.
Ab- Look, again, Powerhouse Hobbs, right? Ricochet, Shelton Benjamin, and Bobby Lashley. Those guys against the Death Riders. Oh my God. You know, and of course, for the love of God, if this would happen, you would need a slow burning storyline. I mean, talk about putting eyes on your brand and ass in seats just for that storyline if they did it right.
Yep.
But unfortunately, the one thing they got going against them is Tony Khan. So, but yeah, we'll get to all
Hire
that.
some
So,
bookers, dude. He needs to hire us as bookers.
yeah, yep, I agree.
I just need a paycheck.
Yeah, yeah. No, dude, look, I agree. Look, just the idea alone of including Powerhouse Hobbs into that group. That they're already elevated as a great group. But if you add Powerhouse Hobbs, of course, with the Ricochet and the Swerve, man, that puts them way on the next level. It
Yep.
it really does.
Yep. It sure does. And then you have the eventual downfall of them too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Next, we got a vignette of Orange Cassidy versus Mox recap. Um, the BBC comes in with a new name, Death Riders, which I don't really care for. I think they should stick with the BBC.
Death Rider sounds so fucking cheesy.
Yeah,
It sounds like a cartoon or a Friday night teenage TV show back from the 80s.
I think they want to get away from that because William Regal's not with them, but Pac's with them. And I thought Pac was a great addition, to be honest. So
Right.
then we go into a tag match with the Death Riders, Darby Allin versus Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy. That kind of eventually breaks up into chaos with Wheeler Yuter, Marina. Um, I can't remember her last name. Sorry. Gets involved, throws the ref out. Eventually, the conglomerate comes out to kind of save their behinds. But Darby Allin and Cassidy win the match via disqualification.
Yeah. Now, you know what my favorite part of the match was? When
Uh,
Darby Allin came from up top of the entrance. That spot looked so cool with him dropping down, right? But other than that, I mean, look, look, everyone in this match was amazing. They're great talent, right? But it's nothing special. It's really not. It's like, what? Why should I get excited about the Death Riders when basically it's no different than what they'd be doing anyway?
I just can't. It should have been a squash match, and for the most part, it was. I like Cassidy. I like Darby. I just don't see him as legitimate. I mean, they're a step above Marco Stunt. I'm sorry. You know, I just don't buy into this under 200 pound. Being an opposing figure. I don't care how good you are as an amateur or bringing an amateur background or whatnot. I just don't see these guys as legitimate threats. I mean, he takes Cesaro. I'm sorry, I forget his current name. Half the stuff these guys do, he can catch them and drop them like a bad habit. You know,
Claudio, yeah, and this is the
yeah,
thing.
Claudio.
I know people will say, well, I mean, you're supposed to suspend your disbelief, but this is the thing. In order for me to suspend my disbelief, I need to be able to suspend my disbelief.
Right, I
And and,
believe him.
and right, and the fact of the matter is that there is not a world which I live in that I would ever believe that Darby Allen would beat the shit out of John Moxley or Claudio, right? Maybe
Right,
Willa Yuta, that would be a little bit more believable. But
yeah.
yeah, and look, Orange Cassidy. I like Orange Cassidy. Don't get me wrong. I really do. But is he world heavyweight champion material? No, he's not. I'm sure some AEW fans would disagree with me. I don't think he is. So there's not one fiber in me that believes that at this next coming pay-per-view coming up, that Moxley's going to drop a title to him. There's no way. But then again, it's AEW, it's Tony Khan. He booked some stupid shit, which he did actually tonight. When we get to it, I'll bring it up. But yeah, I just don't think that John Moxley's dropping the title. At least I hope he doesn't.
Yeah, I think at one point they were thinking or contemplating the belt going to Darby or Cassidy. I can't remember which one. And Mox stepped in and said, no, that shouldn't happen. And that's why Mox got the title off of Brian Danielson.
Right,
And I
right.
can't remember which one of these two and they're heavily favored. Tony Khan loves these guys. And maybe we're just old fashioned and we need to see them 6'4", beefy, 250-pound guys. And we're just not ready for 5'8", 185.
Well,
I
I
don't know.
mean, look, this is the thing. I honestly, I think the bigger guy thing is more your thing. It's not necessarily my thing, but at the same time, it has to be somewhat believable for me, right? I don't need a Darby Allen to be the size of you
Mox,
know,
Fox, or
yeah,
Pack.
yeah, I don't, but I need him to be somewhat bigger, at least average. And as well as I need to believe that he would legitimately be that badass. You don't have to be this big guy to be this legitimate badass that could just fight, right? I don't buy it with Darby Allin, and I don't buy it with Orange Cassidy either. I mean, the whole thing with Orange Cassidy to begin with, when he first came into AEW, before he was even in AEW, was this gimmick guy because he had a very unique gimmick, right? It was one of those things that, you know, his time spot would be the gimmick time spot, basically.
He had a friend.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever meant to be world champion, but Tony Khan loves this guy. If you look at his win-loss record, Tony Khan books this guy to win constantly. And I'm not saying he shouldn't, but not in that main event role. Sorry.
You know, these guys need to get wins through the back door, I guess.
Right.
A roll up pin real quick, that nobody was expecting, or both wrestlers' shoulders down, and one gets their shoulder up in time, the other one doesn't. They need to be crafty and creative on how they pin people. But to do their finishing move and get a pin, and in some cases a nonchalant pin, yeah, it's not viable and believable. But you sneak in a sneaky win, okay, I can give it to him.
Right. Right. I mean, if you think that I believe that Orange Cassidy has his orange punch or whatever the fuck he calls his finishing move, that he can knock these men out that he's been fighting, come on. Really? I just
Yeah,
don't buy it.
I don't care when I see Roman do it, but Roman's
Right.
got some strength behind him. Probably four times the strength that Orange Cassidy does.
Right.
So with Roman, whether I like it or not, it's a little bit more viable.
Right.
So,
Right.
all
No,
right,
I
next
agree.
we go to backstage interview with Ricochet, MVP. Hertz Syndicate shows up, and they kind of bully him a little bit into, hey bud, you should come with us. But we're gonna watch your match. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. You know what I thought about that spot? Let me tell you what I thought about that spot. I loved it. I loved
uh,
it. Because look, Ricochet really, I think he looks so much better in AEW with WWE. I do, and even his interviews. I mean, whenever he looked at Lashley and said, "Nice seeing you again," something about that just I don't know what it was, but it made me laugh. And just his whole body language as the Hurt Syndicate was kind of surrounding him. I don't know. I just really liked it a lot.
yep, yeah. I think that you got to have natural chemistry, and I think these guys can have natural chemistry. You know, I mean, it's already there with Bobby and Benjamin Shelton. You
Right.
know,
Right.
um,
Well, and Mark, look, Ricochet is a perfect example. We're talking about, I don't really need size. I just need believe, it need to be believable. Ricochet holding the world championship, in my opinion, being that main event guy at AEW, he's not a big guy. That's believable for me. It is.
because of his skill and ability.
Exactly.
You know? And again, I like Darby, I like Orange, but they aren't on the same skill class. You know,
Nope.
and could they be? Yeah, they probably could be, but that's not their stick.
Right.
You know, their stick is hit and run, hit and run, hit and run, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But
Yep.
Ricochet, he's got the talent and he's got the ability. You know,
Yeah.
Ricochet to me is probably on a par with Will Ospreay. You know,
Could be. Could
so
be.
next we go to the conglomeration versus the learning tree. There were spots in this match that I actually liked. You know, I have a hard time seeing Kyle O'Reilly taking out the big tree or whatever. But when he put on that guillotine headlock, I'm like, yep, all right, that's believable. Because you're dealing with a submission move.
Right, right. I agree. My and look, it was an entertaining match. And this is my own personal thing. I just hate this gimmick with the learning tree. I hate it, and because I just like the gimmick so much, it takes away the match for me. And that's my thing. Because if Jericho's group would have been named something differently, right, and it wasn't just the stupid gimmick, I probably would have enjoyed this match even more. But I just
But
hate this gimmick.
that's what makes it good because in 20 years you're still going to be complaining about the learning tree. You know,
Probably.
so I mean, yeah, remember when Jericho had the learning tree? God damn, I hated that shit. So if you hate it, then it's working.
Right. Right.
Next, we go to Death Riders backstage. A lot of jibber jabber. Nothing really. They're incoherent. And I don't understand where they're coming from or whatnot. But whatever. I'm not super high on their philosophy. I am super high on their ability in the ring.
Well, and this is the thing, and I know I just said, I like slow burn storylines, and I do. But at the same time, with these slow burn storylines, you can slowly give me some a different course with it, right? This has just basically been the same thing, nothing different forever now. And because of that, it makes me not as excited as, oh, what's happening, right? They need to add something to get me back in it to say, oh shit, you know, but they're not, which leads me to believe that they don't know which direction they're going to go on with this. That's just what
Right.
it seems like with me.
Right. There might be, six different storylines they're going to take this with. Just a question of which one they're going to go with.
Right.
You know, depending on who's going to be a player, who's not going to be a player. I mean, I've heard Edge is coming back shortly. Where's he going to go on this? I heard he's going to team up with Darby Allin. I think you and I talked about that. You know, is he going to recreate a Judgment Day? I don't know. In AEW, I don't know. But I could see Edge being the leader that AEW needs.
Right. Right.
Um, so next we
But,
go
hold
to
on, Mark. But this is the problem, though. There's still been no real valid explanation why Moxley has decided after fucking 5 years that he hates AEW and he wants to take him out.
well, I think it kind of boils down to he doesn't see the same vision they see. So he has a different vision of where AEW should be going versus where it's going. You know, I guess that's my interpretation.
Right.
So
All right.
next next we go to Adam Cole versus Malachi Black. This was a decent match,
It was.
and to be honest, I was really surprised at the end when Adam put his hand out to shake and Malachi went in for a hug.
Right.
Now, this kind of throws me a little bit because are we seeing a face turn for Malachi? Because I didn't Buddy shake his hand last week.
We
You know,
did. I don't know. I know that there's been a lot of speculation, and this past Wednesday, Malachi Black hugging Adam Cole added more to that speculation that Malachi was out on his way out the door. Now, of course, Malachi Black has said that this is not true, um, but who knows? This is my thing, though, with is Malachi Black and the rest of his guys turning face. I hope not. And I'll tell you why. They're not, they don't look like a face group. They look like this dark, evil group that will freaking snatch the soul out of you if they can.
right? But they could be anti-heroes.
Yeah, yeah. But this whole shaking your hand or hugging you thing, I don't like it, man. For Malachi Black, I just don't like it.
I
Now,
like the
I now
respect.
I hope with this leads to is them saying, "Ha ha, fuck you, you dumb shits, we fooled you," and they just beat the snot out of whoever. But for right now, I don't like it.
Yeah. The other interesting thing was Kyle O'Reilly was watching this match in the back. So in my mind, Kyle O'Reilly is going to get somewhere involved with United Kingdom, or not United Kingdom. Yeah,
But yeah, United Kingdom. I'm expecting United Kingdom to turn on Adam Cole at some point. And I think maybe that's where Kyle O'Reilly may get involved. We'll see. I think that, yeah, and we'll talk about the announcement with MJF, that possibly we may see this happen at the pay-per-view um, with MJF taking on Adam
Wolf,
Cole and
Roderick Strong.
Roderick Strong. Yeah. Yep.
And Adam goes on to explain that if both of them get 3 wins, it'll be a 3-way match.
Right.
I think for the sake of argument, it probably should be a three-way match. I'm not a super high on Roger Strong. I think he's got great talent and ability, but there's just something about him that just grates me wrong. I don't know.
He does not look like he would be a professional wrestler. He looks like he would be the brain behind a group because he looks like a fucking teacher.
I was just thinking he looks like a teacher. I was just thinking that. All right, so yeah, I'm guessing it's gonna be a three-way match. Then it pans out to MJF calling somebody, telling them he needs them to visit someone. So there's gonna be something shady there. My first guess was gonna be he's gonna pull Warlord back into this,
Whoa.
but I don't see that happening. Um, let's see. Then we go to an interview with Jay White. Hangman Page attacks him. They end up in the ring. Juice Robinson comes out for the save. Um, and Adam just ends up, or Page just ends up running away pretty much.
Yeah.
Then we go to an interview with Starlander. After our interview, they hear a crash, and SUV has hit Starlander, and Monet comes out and yelling at Camilla about you were supposed to miss her or something. I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. This is what I thought about that whole fucking segment. It's booing because it fucking sucked. All right.
Yeah,
It sucked. I'm sorry. The fact that one, Monet makes it, she seems like she's aggravated at her girl, whatever her name is. I just don't give a fuck about her. Um and tells her, get out of the car and go check on an idiot or whatever. It was just so non-believable. The whole scenario. It was just dumb.
uh,
And I don't you know what? I don't care about the storyline. I really don't like Monet. She's just been a big flop in AEW as far as I'm concerned. I've never liked Stan Lander. So
I Monet doesn't float my boat. Good talent. I think great personality. In ring, I just can't get excited. Starlander, I like. I didn't initially like her when she first came out with the alien concept, but she's grown on me and she's gotten away from the alien concept. Um, I'd rather see her as a TBS champ than Monet. And
see, and I think that go ahead, I'm sorry.
eventually they're going to take that belt off Monet anyhow because she's going to be world champ. I mean, that's a guarantee.
Yeah, and I think that's my thing with Storylander. Why I don't like her is because I cannot get that alien gimmick out of my head with her. Every time I see her, I think about that gimmick. It just makes me not like her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've kind of moved on past it. So next we go to Christian Cage with Kip and the Waynes. Cage praises Kip on saving him from cashing in his contract and hugs him, upsetting Nick. Hook shows up. Cage offers him a home and basically slams on Taz.
He basically
Christian
told
Cage,
Hook, wait, not basically, he told Hook, I should have just fucking killed your dad. You know, I cannot tell you how much I love Christian. I think Christian is probably one of the best things in AEW. He has been so fucking great the past couple of years, or since he's been with AEW, especially as a heel. He says shit that you just shocked that it's come out of your mouth type of a
you know,
thing.
I never cared for him in WWE.
I agree.
Um, I think he was a mid card talent at best. The fact that he being a world champion just shocked the hell out of me. But I think it was an homage to Edge at the time, kind of like giving Ray the belt after Eddie died. All
Right.
right. Um, but his personality, and he's such a great heel. He's such a great heel. And, he's got talent and ability. I won't take it.
Yes.
But he was one of the first ones that I looked at and said, dude, you're 205. I can't believe you. But because he's such a wily veteran, he is believable. He is believable. And the fact is, I don't think he's really lost a step in the ring, to be honest, for his age.
Mm-mm.
You
No,
know,
I really hope that when he decides to cash in his contract, that they put the belt on him.
See, I don't see it, but
No,
now is it for a world title or is it like Money in the Bank where it's any title?
I think it's any title,
Yeah. See,
but
now
he's
I
going to
could.
go for the world title.
Oh yeah, he is. Oh yeah, he is. That's no doubt about it. And to be honest, I think if they give it to him, then you got to eventually see an Edge versus Christian face off.
Yeah. Now I tell you, I'm really glad to finally see that they're doing something to Kip Sabian because Kip Sabian is someone that I've always liked. He's just had such terrible fucking booking and gimmicks at AEW. And I'm really glad that they put him with Christian. I think it's going to elevate Kip Sabian. And yeah, I am all about that.
Yeah, no, I am too. I think Kip's a great talent. And he does kind of need probably a mouthpiece. Kip's
Mhm.
not bad, Mike, but he's not extraordinary. So having
Right.
Chris mouthpiece, you know, and you can see the dissension in the ranks already. You know. All right, so next we go to the announcement of Mina
Yeah, who cares?
Shikawa. Yeah, I like her though. I like her. You know, but it's not like she's appearing out of nowhere. She's already been in AEW. Now I believe she's got a full time contract. Before it was just you know sporadic hits. But I
Yeah,
like her.
I
Talent.
felt like I felt like I went back in fucking time, back to the fucking 80s when they with this whole freaking music shit that they were doing with her. I just couldn't stand it.
Yeah. Anyways, then we go to a video of Okadawa talking about defending his title in upcoming tournament, and I think it's in Japan, I believe. Um, Ricochet comes out, introduces his partner as Powerhouse Hobbs. I thought this was fabulous. We gone, they go on to defeat Takashita and Fletcher. Adam Cole's watching the match in the back.
Well, let me stop you, okay? Because you skipped over something. You skipped over the interview with Don Callis.
Oh, I
And
did. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
and apparently MJF called this big old guy hitman or whatever he was. He handed Don Callis a envelope with money. There's a phone, there's a message, and basically MJF hired Don Callis to have one of his guys take out Adam Cole so he doesn't win the third match. And who did he choose? None other than um uh God damn it.
Takashita.
Yeah.
Takashita.
Yeah, yeah. And this is where I was talking about Tony Khan and the stupid fucking booking. Mark, let me ask you something. Well, let's think first off. Um, Takashita is Takashita. He was supposed to be high. He's the higher guy from Don Callis' family because he's such a good, great guy who could hurt people. That's who MJF hired, and they announced the main event fucking next Wednesday is Takashita against fucking
Adam
Adam Cole. Let me ask you something. Whose shoulders got pinned tonight in this match? With
Fletcher and
yeah.
yeah,
No, that was Fletcher with
with Hobbs and
yeah, with Hobbs, yeah, Fletcher and Takashita against Hobbs and Ricochet. Whose shoulder got pinned tonight?
Takashita.
Why in the fuck with the guy you're booking or the main event next week to supposedly take out Adam Cole because he's that great, be the same guy you have fucking take a pin tonight?
Because they're pushing Fletcher. That's why.
I get that, but it does, then don't put Takashita in the fucking match. Then have someone else for Fletcher's fucking tag team partner that can take the goddamn pin.
Yep. Yep.
To me, this is once again just stupid booking on fucking Tony Khan's fucking part, and he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yep. Eventually, Mark Davis comes out. Archer and Cage take Davis out. Uh, Adam Cole comes out, and then all of a sudden, Osprey's music comes out or comes on.
Yep.
Fletcher runs Rabbit,
Yep.
and that's pretty
Yep.
much the end of the show.
And that's it.
Um, you know, I can understand some of the booking, whether I like it or not. I can understand it. I think they're really high on Fletcher, and to a degree, I can understand that. I think Fletcher is a hell of a talent. I think he makes a hell of a villain. Um, Mark Davis is going to fall along the wayside, without even blinking. He'll go back to Japan most likely. But Fletcher, yeah, they're trying to elevate him, and I think more so than Akashita, you know.
I
And
get
to be
that.
honest, I think AEW's done a pretty good job of utilizing their Japanese talent versus how WWE utilizes their Japanese talent. I think AEW's done a lot better job, not an extraordinary job, but a better job.
Right. But still, if that's your plan, is for Takashita, fuck, to take the pin, then why make him the guy that's going to take out Adam Cole when there's so many other people for Diecast? Honestly, Lance Archer.
Yeah,
They should have got Lance Archer to be the guy, right?
or Cage
Um, was that?
or Cage.
Yeah, or Cage. Honestly, that's who I really thought that's who I thought that they would get, was one of those two guys. Because I mean, why not? Those have been the perfect guys because you've seen just how dominant both of them has been here lately, right? That would have made
Yep.
sense. That would have made more sense than picking the guy that you're going to have pinned later on tonight. To me, I think it's terrible. And I think it's these little things that just is preventing
It hurts them.
AEW from going to that next level.
Right, right. So
So, but
I don't know.
yeah, that I think, yeah, like you said, that's the show for tonight. Let's not forget that tomorrow I'm going to be having Baby Doll, the Perfect 10 on the show. Her and I we're doing an interview together. I am going to release this interview tomorrow as well. And then, of course, Saturday, we're going to do a recap for Friday Night SmackDown. But until then, guys, please subscribe to my channel. Um, I have, different things that I'm planning that I think everyone will really like. But please subscribe to the channel because, again, the more subscribers we have, the bigger the podcast can get. The bigger the podcast gets, the better chance I have of actually getting the people on that you all want to see me sit down with. But until then, Mark, do you have anything?
Ring the damn bell.
That's right. Ring the damn bell, everybody. We'll be back on Saturday. Until then, you guys have a very great weekend. Have a good weekend.